I stood on Cape Cornwall in the sun's evening glow, on Tune Hill at Newlyn to watch the fishing fleets go, watch the sheaf wheels at Givor as they spun.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this video update on life in Port Pendennis, this iconic village, this oasis of peace and tranquility in Falmouth. Just to bring you up to date, for those that weren't aware, we have 96 properties here in Port Pendennis, of which 24 are houses and the rest are apartments. Your board are doing their very best to manage the village fairly and transparently, ensuring that the needs of the various owners are satisfied. To that extent, it's a village of thirds. We have about a third who are permanent residents, about a third who have second holiday homes here, and about a third who let, either on a holiday letting basis or indeed assured short-hold tenancies. And our task is to make sure that we please most of the people most of the time. As ever, our thanks to TJ, Paul and Lee for doing a magnificent job on the garden.
The lawns suffered last summer, they were reseeded and the pigeons enjoyed it.
The amount of work they've done has been impressive this year. You'll have noticed that many of those plants that would have looked more at home in Jurassic Park have now gone, and they've been replaced with some beautiful plants that will see us well for the next 10 years. So proof in the pudding, really. This bush is trimmed approximately 5 times a year based on rainfall, and checked this 5 years ago. That was the height of the hedge, and gradually they do become too big, too large for purpose, and do require replacement or some fairly serious trimming. Not wanting to appear like an episode of Country File, but this is an example of what Lee has done for us. Where hedges have outgrown their useful life, he's replaced them with sensible replacements. Welcome to Port Pendennis main vehicle gate. It's working. A lot of work has gone in by Southwest Garage Doors. We've done our best to identify the components that need to be held as spares, and the work now will hopefully result in a far improved serviceability and ease of access to the village. Just to remind everybody that the gate entry system relies on residents having a phone. That can be a landline or a mobile number that is notified to the managing agent. As many of you will have been aware that there were past problems with the street lighting. One of the street lamps fell over, and there were concerns over some sort of failing. So to that end, a lot of work has gone in surveying the street lamps and maintaining a good service. Certainly, whenever there are problems with lack of illumination, especially in the winter, the managing agent has been very helpful. On the subject of superfast broadband, the fibre optic cable has been laid throughout the village. Currently is only connected to houses, therefore all apartments would require additional paperwork and expense to be connected. There is a question here as to whether future-proofing by using fibre optic in the street into our apartments is the way to go, or whether we should perhaps wait for 5G rollout and see what that might provide. But again, the AGM gives you an opportunity to talk about future-proofing and additional expense with your board. The board has been giving some thought to how owners may recharge electrical vehicles in future. But certainly we have positions here in the visitors' car park where we may be able to put 13 amp output for those who wish to charge whilst they're visiting the village. The boat park, obviously it's looking in fairly good order at the moment, and all we'd ask is if owners who have dinghies or boats in the park could just append their names and contact numbers to them, just in case they need to be contacted. Reminder to all that storage facilities are available in the village. The units are available by requesting them from Vickery Holman. They cost £100 per year and ideal for any overflow storage requirements that you might have. Any owners wishing to relinquish or request them, please contact Victory. The triumph that is the bin store continues to work well, and again we just request that those visiting the village adhere to the very broad guidelines in order that the rubbish is removed without any repercussions. We've had the quotes in now, and the quotes for the next phase of the rolling redecoration between £75,000 and £135,000. We're lucky enough to have Andrew Miller return to offer his sage advice and firm project management to ensure that the contractor who undertakes the work does complete it to the standard required. This year it's been quite frustrating in that feet have had to be held to the fire to make to obtain that final standard. So we are comfortable now that we'll have a better control over future redecoration. Just a brief advertisement for those considering perhaps standing as directors at Port Pendennis Village. We are permitted to have a minimum of 6 and a maximum of 9 directors. Currently we have 6 and we have 2 volunteers this term. My thanks to Mr. Michael Beach and Mr. Anthony Batchelor for kindly offering their services, and I would ask you all to consider voting for them to have that additional expertise and interest on the board. So finally, thank you for coming to the AGM. I hope this audio-visual update has been helpful. We would welcome your questions, comments and contributions on completion of the official business today. Many thanks.
Because I was born here, and here I shall die, and no one will ever